today I am going to be doing CHING number 168. So these are 50 things that have recently sold on eBay. So let's just get straight into it. The first thing that I have is a Boyd's Bears trinket box. This one was kind of like a little Easter basket, so Easter themed, and that sold for $20. We also sold, this was a glass radio strain insulator is what they're called. These came in like a box of some stuff that we wanted an auction one time and I had no idea what they were. So figured out that's what they were, and some of these, like this shape in particular, was kind of an unusual shape. I once sold one of these for a lot more, but this was a while back. And this one here still sold decently for something I had no intentions of actually purchasing. It just came with some stuff that I did want, and that sold for $20.50. I sold a vintage, this was a child's size from 1991 Terminator 2 sweatshirt that sold for $45. Let's see, this item, I think it came from a church rummage sale. It was from the 1930s, this little cardboard box that was full of these, what they called lipstick tissues. So basically they were, you know, something you would like blot your lipstick on, and it was still full. I don't know if any of them were actually taken out of the box. The box was in like immaculate condition for its age. Those I did put on auction and they ended up selling for $46, so that was a nice one. I sold a set of two these were from Bath and Body Works. At one point they came out with a lamb, like a Sherpa kind of lamb line. The slippers that came out are actually worth really good money. I sold a pair of those. These came up at the auction and I remembered the slippers and I was like, I don't know if like the little stuffed lambs would sell, you know, as good as like the slippers and stuff do. But I took a chance on them and I listed those as the lot, and they did sell for $39.99. Sold a Longaberger All-American Pie Plate. This sold for $32. Also sold a little ceramic, this was Russian little ceramic monkey, that sold for $14.99. This next item was a signed piece by someone named Karen Cahill. It was just a little mini pottery crock. Unfortunately, it was missing its lid. Had it had its lid, it would have been worth a lot more. But that I did put on auction and it did sell for $12.99. This next item I did have for a while. It was a Willie Ray piece, Halloween themed, super cute. It was called Costume Party. That sold for $99.99. I sold one of those dolls I picked up at an estate sale. We pretty much filled like 2 or 3 boxes worth of stuff. Like, it was, you know, I'm pretty sure I had a little bit of a video clips of that where you just like walked through the house and filled boxes. So you kind of had to like dig for things yourself through boxes. They didn't have like anything set up. It was super fun. It was like a treasure hunt. So we filled like 2 or 3 boxes, and I think we only paid like $40 for all of our stuff, and we got a lot of stuff. Anyway, this doll was from there. That sold for $19.99. And I just sold another one literally yesterday for $40. So you'll see that in another cha-ching. I sold a vintage Fisher Price Fun with Food play set. This one was the pizza making set that sold for $29.99. And I purchased a lot of those at an auction and I was paying $1 for like baggies full of them. I sold, this is another item that just came with some stuff that I won at an auction. This was a picture called Free as the Wind. It was of horses and it was by an artist named Ted DeGrazia. That sold for $12.99. I sold just a random Barbie Ken shirt for $5.99. The next item is a Monet trinket box. We still have a couple Monet trinket boxes, and they do sell every so often. We sold a lot of them like right off the bat when we won a bunch, and now they're just kind of like trickling out, but that's fine. This one was of a pumpkin, and that sold for $35.99. Sold a My Little Pony. This is a vintage My Little Pony, just a little accessory piece. It was like a blue boa. That sold for $14.99. Also sold another vintage My Little Pony. This one was called Happy Tales, and that sold $19.99. This next item was a vintage Avon perfume called Hello Sunshine. That sold $12.99. I think this Five Nights at Freddy's plush was the last Five Nights at Freddy's plush I had. If you guys have been watching my Chings for a while, you know I won like a bunch of Five Nights at Freddy's plushies, and some of them sold, oh my gosh, for such good money. And I sold like so many of them, and finally this was the last one, and it sold the Fazbear, $39.99. Then I sold two vintage Valentine's Day cards. The first one was of a traffic cop, sold $9.99, and then the other one was a man playing a banjo, and that sold $9.99 as well. I sold a perfume and lotion set. This was a brand new gift set. It was called Forever by Mariah Carey. This is actually a good perfume to find. That set sold for $129.99. I sold that signed wood folk art bird. You saw me pick this up at an antique store. This was by someone named Alan Core, and I sold it for $49.99. This next item was super surprising. Found these at an auction. These plates, they are by Anthropology. The artist's name is Natalie Leet, if I'm pronouncing that right, L-E-T-E. And it was a bird plate. There were two. We won both of those. I still have one listed. The person bought one for $159.99 for one plate. Just mind blown. Also sold a vintage. This was for a gem doll, gem fashion outfit. This sold for $99.99. So I've been selling a decent amount of the gem fashions that I've had, and a lot of them have been repeat buyers. You know, they've been happy with the fashions. They're all real clean, great condition. And a lot of them are like 100% complete, which is nice. I do have some that I haven't listed yet because they're not complete. So I do still have some that I need to list. Oh, and speaking of which, they actually came out with another gem doll. They've been doing that a lot recently, like coming out with like remaking some of the vintage toys. Like I bought one, the gem doll. Then actually last time I was in at Walmart in the Easter aisle at the like an end cap, there were these two different Polly Pocket play sets that had the same look, like they were made to look like the vintage ones, like the packaging and everything. So I did buy one of each of those as well. I just couldn't resist. So yeah, it's just been fun seeing those things pop up at the store again. Let's see. I did sell a book. This was from the Franklin Library. It was called Women in Love, and that sold for $24.99. I sold a little pottery jug. This one was by Pigeon Forge Pottery, and that sold $19.99. Sold a pair of vintage doll shoes, little red doll shoes. These were by Ideal. They sold $5.99. I also sold a Bratz shirt, just a little replacement shirt that sold $4.99. Sold a sheet of vintage trend scratch and sniff stickers. These ones were scented as honey, and they sold for $19.99. Sold a, this looks like kind of a My Little Pony, but it's actually a Cabbage Patch Kids pony. I guess back in the day, since the My Little Ponies were doing so well, the Cabbage Patch Kids line decided to do like their own version of ponies. So this was kind of like that. Anyway, that sold $12.99. Sold a uranium glass vanity jar with a lid. That sold $39.99. Also sold a miniature perfume. This was called Colors by Alexander Julian. That sold $11.99. You'll see more of these in probably my next cha-ching. We won a bunch of these Ziploc storage containers. You did see some of these at one point in a Death Pile Destruction video, which I'm so sorry, it's been a while since I've done one. But this was a Ziploc twist and lock. It was for a set of 2, and these were the small round ones. Those sold $44.99. Sold a pair of SAS black loafers, shoes. Those sold $29.99. Also sold a ceramic rooster. This was marked Japan. I had that on auction and it sold for $15. Also sold a cast iron breadstick pan. So this had 5 slots to make breadsticks. That sold $25.99. Next item is also another Monet trinket box. This one I thought was one of the coolest. It was a head on a nest. That sold for $49.99. I sold just a little pair of Polly Pocket red rain boots. So these were for the Polly Pockets that came out, I want to say maybe in like more of like the earlier 2000s era, that were more like dolls kind of thing, not like just the little tiny figures, but more like dolls. Those sold $4.25. I actually have like a huge bag full of like those types of Polly Pocket doll like clothes and shoes and accessories and stuff like that, and I don't know what to do. You know, it's very tedious to list like every little thing individually. But so like I don't know if I really want to bother doing that, or if I want to just start like making big lots and then just selling it off as it is. What would you do? Would you just part everything out? I mean, that would make you probably the most money in the long run, but it's also the most tedious and time consuming. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that Polly Pocket stuff. I sold a Monster High outfit. This was for the Rochelle Goyle doll. That sold $22.99. Next item was a baseball bronze medallion coin. That sold $9.99. Eric accidentally bid on that at the auction. He paid $1 for it. He didn't mean to bid on it. He thought something else was being sold at that time. But still made a little bit off of it, so it was okay. Sold another vintage My Little Pony. This one was a Big Brother pony named Barnacle. He sold for $25.99. Sold a big lot of poker chips. These were all Iron Maiden poker chips, which was just interesting. Never had seen those before. Those sold as the lot for $19.99. I sold a Heidi Doff's bracelet. This one was a purple hinged bracelet, sold $79.99. I sold a little porcelain butterfly trinket dish for $12. As soon as I listed this, it sold. I found the exact same one in Solds that had sold for $12, so I just listed mine for $12 and it sold right away, so that's awesome. Let's see, I sold another gem fashion, doll fashion, again for $99.99. Obviously it was a different one. Sold 2 Poland glass vintage Christmas ornaments. These were both indents. Those sold $12.99 for the pair. Here is another Ziploc twist and lock storage containers. These were medium round, and those sold $24.99. Also sold a Victoria's Secret body spray in the scent Passionate Kisses for $39.99. This next item I did put on auction. It was a really old, this was from 1864 German pocket Bible that sold for $36.55. And the last thing that I have for this cha-ching was a set of 3 Santa Claus figures. These were all by Honey and Me. You guys know I like selling stuff by Honey and Me. And those sold as a set of 3 for $39.99. So that is pretty much everything for this cha-ching. My eBay sales are down 16.6%. I do feel like, okay, I'm getting sales, but I definitely feel like there is a bit of an eBay slump, and I don't, well, you know, there's, I'm sure, all sorts of factors that, you know, go into when it's slow with eBay. I mean, I've been selling for years, so like I understand, you know, you do go through these phases where sales are really good and then sales are down and then sales are like meh. So it's just, it's how it is. Sales are not always going to be booming every single day, every single month, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things you have to kind of like wait out. You know, just keep listing. I have been kind of going back through, because with me, and like I have like a lot of listings. I feel like I'm at like, I think I have like 3,000 some listings, and some of the stuff has been listed for a while. You know, I'm one of those types that, you know, kind of like the Ron, do you guys remember the Ron Popeil, like back in the day, the like advertisements on television, set it and forget it. So it's basically how it is with my listings. It's like I'll list something and then just, you know, let it sit until it sells. But lately here I have been like going back, and since, you know, a couple of years might have gone by since I had that listing, and obviously like my price isn't where it should be anymore, because the price is like, woo, like went way down. So I've been having to go in, recheck prices, and then, you know, drop my prices on some listings and things like that. You can always send out offers to watchers to try to get some more sales in. And I am also, and excuse the mess, I always say that behind me, I'm getting like a pile together off on this side. It's all beauty items, stuff that maybe I've either tried selling on eBay or Mercari or whatnot, or that kind of thing, and it's just stuff that isn't going anywhere. So I am going to be taking a bunch of stuff to an auction here soon. So they weren't doing one this month, so Eric has to wait until the next one comes around to kind of like schedule us to get, you know, some of our stuff in. So we're going to be taking a bunch of just kind of that type of thing back to the auction, get it out of the house, you know, try to get a little, you know, money back from it, with just some stuff that isn't really seemingly going anywhere. And it's not anything obviously that like, you know, I want to put in our booth or anything like that. It's just stuff that at this point needs to be, you know, dealt with, kind of thing. So that also leads me to, well, before I get into that, I'd like to talk about more or less like eBay type stuff first before I really start to ramble like off topic. I've been noticing a lot, and this probably also isn't helping with sales. Like I'll have something listed, especially like on auction, and even if I'm starting it like real cheap, like $9.99, and I'll have like 11 watchers on the item, and either like the auction ends and like nobody bids even at $9.99, or, you know, it'll have 11 watchers and I'll only get like 1 bid on it, type of thing. So I think people are just really, I guess, trying to, you know, save money right now, which is understandable. I completely understand that. But yeah, that's just something I've been noticing a lot. Like I have a lot of watchers on things, but They're not bidding, they're just looking at it for some reason. So that's, you know, something I've been noticing. And then as far as like rambling about other stuff goes, you guys know that I've been trying to get through my like storage unit and stuff like that, and like get through things, and that is going well. I've been actually, I think that I am out of like random totes that I have been taking out of the storage unit to do like whatnot shows with, as far as like the digging through totes shows. I think I'm out of those types of totes, which kind of sucks because I liked doing those types of shows. I'm still going to do them when I, you know, have like the random things, like when, you know, we win box lot stuff and it comes with things that like I didn't really want, you know what I mean, that I can put in those totes just to see if anybody wants any of that stuff that, you know, I didn't personally want. So that'll still happen, but I am struggling in that aspect to find stuff for that because I've been getting through it. Some of it, like when I've been going through totes, you know, if it's clothes and just clothes that aren't like real good brands and stuff like that, like I'm talking, you know, like the Forever 21 and Rue 21 and stuff like that, that's all been going in bags and is being donated to the thrift store. I'm not even bothering with it. I don't think anyone even would want that type of stuff in like a whatnot show. So I've been donating all of that stuff. There are some totes that I'm bringing home that are like real good stuff in these totes that just hadn't been listed. Like I picked them up at yard sales or stuff from the auction, and for whatever reason, you know, it just didn't get listed and it ended up in a tote, and we took it out of the house, so it was, you know, out of the house and then just went to the storage unit and then just sat in there, and I'm opening it, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I don't even remember having this, and it's like real nice stuff. Like just the other day I was going through a tote and I found like so much good stuff. I mean, granted, the tote did say eBay, so like, you know, I knew it was eBay stuff in there, but at the same time it's like, oh my gosh, like this is so bad. Like why isn't this stuff listed? It's just sitting, I'm just paying, you know, to have it sit in a storage unit, and it just, it's disgusting. It's truly disgusting, and it makes me feel disgusting. So, you know, but that is what I'm trying to do this year, is to get through all of that. So it's coming along. We're still in what, March, so I still have time to get it all, you know, worked out and everything. But it's sometimes a little overwhelming. You know, going through the stuff and everything like that. And I know, I think I said in my last video that I did, in my last CHING, I was saying I was apologizing to Eric because I was holding on to some of this stuff that I did not need to hold on to. So even some of the totes that I've gone through, I've been throwing stuff away. Stuff that literally like doesn't even need to be donated. It's literally like not any good. Like old pots and pans and things like that. Like real bad condition, not, you know, good brands, that kind of thing. So stuff like that is just gone kind of thing. So, I mean, it's getting there. I wish I had more time in the day, more motivation within the day to get more things listed. That's another, you know, just a hard thing to get through, especially when, you know, you're trying to also have a life outside of reselling, you know what I mean? Like, I know this is my job, but, you know, that's one of the reasons I wanted to quit my job, was to try to still maintain and have a life, you know, outside of work. So I still, you know, want those times and the days to actually like enjoy doing things that I want to do and not have to worry about, you know, listing or that kind of thing. So it's just a process, and everyone who is a reseller completely understands everything. But yeah, so there's that. Getting there, not quite there. The weather has been so finicky lately. Like some days here lately it's been really nice, and now again today it feels like winter. Like, you know, so I'm still waiting on some nice days, and once it starts getting nicer, I do want to go over to the unit and just spend some time like going through stuff there and, you know, organizing, making piles, donation piles, potentially stuff to go back to auction, stuff that definitely needs to be listed, and maybe stuff that just, you know, needs to be thrown away as well. So eBay sales doing okay. Had some good sales in the booth yesterday, so that was nice. But that's pretty much, I think, everything for this CHING. I still have another one that I need to do before I am caught up with my CHINGs. And you will see more shopping videos again here soon. Like I said, I do have a church sale to go to soon, and you know, maybe I'll try to get out to like an antique store, the thrift store, something like that, since it's been a little while. And I know I should really do another death pile destruction video soon. I was on such a roll with them. I'm still getting stuff listed. I just haven't really been making videos showcasing those things that have been getting listed. So I need to get back on the ball with that as well. So I apologize, but you know, it's life, and I am so upset too. Yesterday my neighbor lady called me, and her one kitty cat passed away, and it was one that, you guys know, I cat sit for her whenever she goes away, and I've been cat sitting her cats. I call her the kids. I call the cats the kids, like they're like my kids when I go over there and take care of them when she leaves. And she called and told me that he passed away, and I was, oh my god, I bawled my eyes out. I don't think it's really like hit me so much yet until I have to go over there and, you know, cat sit for the other one, that it'll probably hit me more so, because, you know, he won't be there. So I was super upset by that. And, you know, her cats, I know, are old. She rescued both of them, and it's been years since she rescued them, because the one that is still alive, his name is Harry, and he was a stray. He came and I saw him outside, and this was years and years and years ago. I saw him outside, and I took out some milk and tuna for him, and I named him Sweet William, is the name I gave him. And so like I would feed him and give him milk, and she decided to take him in because I couldn't. I had at the time my other dog, and so I couldn't, you know, take the cat in. And so she took him in, and he's been living a real happy life over there. And then she rescued the other one that passed away. His name was Tucker. I'll post a picture of him. So Tucker and Harry, so I'm gonna miss him. I used to, even like when I wasn't over there taking care of him, like in the summertime, he'd be sitting up at the windowsill, and I'd be like, hey Tucker, you know what I mean? He'd just look at me like, you weirdo lady. So yeah, like her cats were like, you know, I was close to her cats, obviously. Like I've been taking care of them for years, so I was super upset by that. So I don't know if she's gonna get another one or not. I do feel like her other one, Harry, is getting up there in age too. So I really, you know, with cats, you never know really with them. Like I've had cats before too that passed away, and you just never know when it's gonna happen. I mean, it's with humans too, but even still, like it's devastating, because animals become like, you know, your family, your children kind of thing. And it's just horrible to go through. So I really feel for her, and oh my god, she called me, and we were just on the phone like bawling. So anyway, I'm like still really upset by that, and like trying to not really think about it so much. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's probably gonna hit me more so when I go over there to take care of Harry. But anyway, guys, that's pretty much everything for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know how things are going for you. I'm gonna edit this video to try to get it up today for you guys, and we'll see if I get anything listed. I think Eric is actually listing today. He set himself a goal of 18 things, so we'll see how that goes. Actually, I can see because he makes drafts, and then I just go through them, make sure there's no spelling errors and stuff like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's up to 8 listings already, so he's doing a good job. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you next time.